Welcome to the 23rd episode of the MC Knitting Adventures podcast. My name's Colleen.
And my name is May. Welcome to those returning viewers, and for those of you who are watching us for the first time, welcome. Today our adventure takes us to Ottawa, Ontario. We had such a great adventure there.
We did.
But before we begin about our adventure, Colleen's going to talk about what we're wearing.
So May, first of all, is wearing the Agent 99 Cowl by Dawn Mawer. Brilliant pattern. Absolutely love it.
I do.
How does it feel?
It feels soft and light. I love the colors.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yes. Love the pattern.
Yes, it's
I know you've made a few things out of that pattern.
Some of those Christmas presents are made. So this is the ball band. So it's a shawl and a ball by Lion Brand. And this is, I think it's 150 grams. Yep, it's 150 grams. And I was able to make one large Agent 99 cowl and two small ones.
Is this a small or a large?
That's a small. And I still have more left. I probably could get another small one out. So if anybody is wanting to try and get some quick Christmas knitting done, this is brilliant. You can get this at Michael's, and you can always have a coupon at this time of year, that's for sure. Now the cool thing about this cowl is the fact that there was the Fibre Friends podcast did an Agent 99 cowl, and we were selected.
That was the contest.
That was the contest. So we were selected, randomly number generated, and our prize arrived. So we know we've talked about that selection, but now let's talk about our prize. So the first thing is we have 40 yards of yarn ink, and it's called Serenity. So that was the first part of the prize.
It's a nice little color.
It's pretty.
What would you make with that?
I think you could make it a stripe in a shawl.
Oh, I see.
I
you
think
don't have to use the whole thing.
some people do cozy memory blankets, so it might knit up to a little square to put in a blanket.
Oh, nice. Very nice little color.
Yes, it's lovely. And what came with it was a needle cozy with some lovely flamingos. So that's going to protect my double point needles, or my circulars. You can do that as well.
And we have a friend that loves flamingos. She lives at the beach.
Yes, she does.
It's too bad she didn't knit.
That's true. That's true.
But that's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. Well
and
made.
last but not least, we ended up with a small project bag, and it is really well made. I love drawstrings, and look at that.
Oh,
it is
I like
so
that.
good. Yes, do you want to have a chance to do that?
Sure.
Because it feels really good when you do that. Yay! Good.
It's little things in life.
That's right. So Dawn is one of the Codependent Knitters, so that's their card. And she has an Etsy shop that's called The Knit's Best Thing. So there's her card.
What a great card that is. I love
It is.
that.
It's beautiful. And she sent us a lovely wee note saying congratulations on winning. So that is what May's wearing, and it brought a whole lot of things with us. And I'm wearing the Emmy shawl, and this is by Shireen Nadir.
I love this shawl. It looks
love
great
it.
on too.
It is so soft. It's got silk and cashmere in it, and it's so nice. Now, pattern was brilliant to knit. I entered this and the Escarpment Cowl for You in the Cozy Up Knits Blue Brick Cowl, and we were selected again. so exciting. And I'll tell you what we won. So we won, first of all, they sent us a lovely wee card. I love their logo. If you take a look at the four sisters, they're so cute. And
I saw those on the podcast.
Yes,
they're
it
funny.
is
They're
really
nice
nice.
girls. Yes.
And we won a book of blue brick patterns called Country House Knits. It's a beautiful book. there's so many patterns in here, and I know for sure I've got some of those that I could make.
Very nice.
So that was part of the prize. There was one of these bags so that you can kind of slip your hand in and you can stand while you're knitting if you want to. And so it's from bigbluemama.com, and it's really
Nice,
well made.
well made. Nice
and
bag.
the fabric inside is so nice. It's beautiful. So I was thrilled with that.
Wow.
And it must have been the season for pink. So the other thing is we got a skein of yarn, and the coolest thing about this was it was compacted. So they do like vacuum sealing, and then when you open it, it just pops out, which is great. So this is by Stitch and Octopus Fibre, and it is 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. And it's actually divided into two 50-gram skeins. So that's for socks, but I really, really like it, so I'm not sure I'm going to do socks out of it. I think I could make a nice shawl with it. And it's pretty.
Yeah,
I
you've
really
got
like
some
it.
options there. This is
I
great.
do. So we
Well.
had a very fortunate November. It was very nice to be selected, and our prizes arrived even with Canada Post doing some funny things, and so we were thrilled to have that. So thank you to Cozy Up Knits, thank you to the Fibre Friends, and thank you also to Don Mawer. So we had a great time. And
Yeah,
Blueprint.
Thank you.
Thank you. to
Yes,
them.
thanks very much.
So next we're going to talk about finished objects. My first finished object is going to have to wait for a second because we need to talk about the elephant in the room. So I'm going to hold it up so you can see. There it is. So 3 weeks ago, I took a wee tumble. Don't ask me how. Tripped on a chair leg. Anyway, I ended up...
It was kind of simple. You were all of a sudden standing up, and all of a sudden you were in midair in slow motion and coming down. I mean, it was funny now, but it wasn't funny at the time.
Nope.
But I thought, what is happening? And here you were on the floor.
And all I said was to May, I broke my finger. And she thankfully did not see what my finger looked like. So I'm going to show you on my left hand. So right at this knuckle, the second knuckle in, my baby finger went that way.
Oh.
So it was almost 90 degrees. And I don't know what I was thinking because I thought my finger's broken and I straightened it. Which, if it's grossing you out, I apologize. So I'm not going to mention that again. So we called our friend Cheryl, a nurse, and said, what do we do? And so we wrapped it, we buddy taped it. That's what it's called when you do this. We buddy taped it.
Put some ice.
Put some ice on it, and we were trying to think of what to do. On the next day, I said, I think I need to go get it checked out because
swelling and everything.
It was swelling
and bruised.
and
The bruise started going up
your
the hand
hands,
and the
yeah.
arm. So I thought that wasn't good. So then
No.
you made the executive decision to go to the Emerge and have it X-rayed.
Right. And what they explained to me is that the ligaments in your fingers are almost stronger than the bone. And so when the ligament was stretched, the bone gave way a little bit. So it's a small fracture. The reality is they splinted it for a week, and then I saw the doctor at, it's called the Hand and Upper Limb Clinic at St. Joseph Hospital. They've been amazing, a little bit of physio, seeing doctors. And so the idea is keep it like this and for 6 weeks.
But I have to say, in between that, you heard it again. You did something
I don't know what I did.
and made it worse a little bit. Like, I don't know if it was in your sleep or whatever you did, but
Anyway.
you bent it kind of back. Anyway, it's taken a little bit longer than what you thought to
Right.
heal.
So the other thing that it's done is that I tension my yarn, and knitters are going to understand, with my pinky finger on this hand, on my right hand. And I can't do it. I have been able to knit a little bit with these lovely three, my thumb and my two fingers, but I can't do a whole lot. So the good news is our finished objects were finished before all of that happened.
But you haven't been doing much because of
No,
the fingers. So.
I haven't. And we'll talk about that when we talk about works in progress, because there's not many, but that's okay. So the first thing we're going to talk about is a pair of socks, and these are the Jemima socks by KF Jones of the Bakery Bears.
These are the ones I mentioned that look like camouflage.
Yes, they do. So this is Opal yarn that we got in Oban, Scotland. I'll try and hold up the ball band. May's going to take pictures for me, but I'm going to hold this up anyway so you can see. So there's that. I still have quite a bit left, so we may be able to make a pair of shorty socks for you out of that. And the heel and cuff, I'm all wrapped up here. The heel and cuff is Premier Yarn Serenity sock. Now, I have to be honest with you. I took the Jemima sock pattern, and as I mentioned to you before, I did some changing because this yarn I really like, but it doesn't do well in that pattern. So this is a vanilla sock on the leg, and then what I did on the top of the foot, I don't know if you can see, I put some ribbing in I did kind of 6 stitches and 2, 6 stitches and 2, and I did that because it just then hugs that to my foot, and these feel great. So I think in the winter they're going to be great to put in some boots and go for a walk.
Yes, and they're also very attractive for a hunter.
For a hunter. Now the other thing, I have to tell you about this. The other thing that K.F. Jones was talking about is the fact that this is a square heel. So I'm going to hold that up carefully. There it is. I don't know if you can see it. And what the square heel does, if you can see it, doesn't impact stripes the same way. There's something about the stitch count. So I think what I do, you and I both really like socks that are cuff down. And I think this heel works well if it's a striped yarn. So I'm going to try that with a different yarn that's definitely stripes, and it's supposed to not impact the stripes quite so much.
Well, there you go. Yep. Knitters would appreciate that information, I'm sure.
Yes. So that's the first finished object. In all honesty, that was finished before our last podcast, and I forgot to show them. Oh. It must have been a sign. Because, I mean, now I have them to show you, so that's good. I tried knitting on a pair of socks since I hurt my finger. I ended up ripping out the row because I can't get the tension that I need to have it work.
I think we should do something some point on knitting injuries and how to cope with knitting injuries. Is there yoga out there for knitters, or is there something out there for knitting?
I don't know if there is.
I should research that and see.
We can do that.
So to help the knitters, like I know you've had issues with your thumb, issues with your shoulder, and I know my mom, who was a knitter, she had issues with her shoulders.
Right.
And how to prevent those kind of injuries, and what you have to do that.
Okay. Now I have lots of yoga books, so I'm going to do some reading and I'm going to do some Googling, and we'll see what we can come up with.
Okay.
The other finished objects that I have are exactly the same, and that's because your son Scott, my son Thomas, and his girlfriend Taylor will be here at Christmas time. I've already sent something overseas to my son in Hong Kong, and we talked about your cowl last week, your Agent 99 cowl, and we talked about Hudson Bay colors. So we have lots of yarn. The reason why we have the yarn left is because we were making these presents. So let's first of all take a look. I found this pattern, which is the Albany Alpaca Cowl, and it is by Jane Veitenheimer. I'm going to say it that way. And it has the Hudson Bay colors in it. And what is it?
I love
Queen Anne? Queen Anne colors,
I think it was Queen Anne colors they called them.
If you look at
1700s.
Oh, good for you. So May helped me pick up the colors. We ordered them online. It is Berroco Comfort. So I'm going to give you the colorways right now, and I will put these in the show notes. So the first one is that this isn't their white color because I needed it to not be a cream but not be white. So this is number 9702. I'll let you hold that one up. So that's that one. And then the navy is 9763.
Great colors. I love this cowl.
Yeah, these colors are brilliant.
I think that our kids, I call them kids, but they're almost 30, are going to love them.
I know. The gold is 9743. The red is a real rich red. I really like it. It's 9760. I'll let you hold that one up. And then the green.
It is a great color of red.
The green is 9752. So you hold that one up as well. Great. So I'm really lucky that I had these done before I took my wee tumble.
And they're so soft.
I know. The nice thing is...
that yarn is absolutely amazing. I love it.
You know, the nice thing is you can put it in the washer, you can put it in the dryer. We don't have to worry about our kids shrinking it to this big.
It feels like cashmere, but I know there's no cashmere.
No cashmere.
Only you get to wear cashmere. That's what I've come to the conclusion.
There you go.
You're cashmere worthy.
Let's go with that.
Okay.
I like that. Okay, so here is what the cowls look like.
I love them. They turned
So there's
out
one,
absolutely amazing.
there's two, and there's three of them. So they're all the same, obviously. And we just thought that this would sit nicely under a coat And I'm really, really
And they're
pleased how
very
they turned out.
unisex. Like the boys and the girls can wear them.
Yeah,
like they're
exactly.
just perfect for that. They're
Yeah.
gonna look amazing. You did a great job on these.
Thank you so
They're
much.
so soft.
So I did a little bit of fancy footwork when it came to the edge of the stripes. And so if you Google this, Very Pink Knits has a good tutorial, and it's just a way of making the stripes not jogless, is what they say. They're jogless stripes. So I'm really happy because I did
So
it.
how do
the
you
same-
make them not?
It involves slipping a stitch and lifting it up and knitting it through. So you knit the new color, and then when you get to the end of that first row, you have to pick something up from below and knit the two together.
And so that makes it straight like that. Is that what you're
Right.
saying? Okay.
Yeah. So it doesn't.
So it
'cause
doesn't kind of go up and down like this.
really, when you're knitting in a circle, you're knitting in a spiral.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was really happy because I knew I needed it to be as clean as possible,
Right.
and it worked well.
Those are fantastic. They turn out great. And again, these colors are not copyrighted. So I know they're Hudson's Bay colors, we call them, but
Right.
they're not copyrighted. And I just think they just turned out so nice. I think you could go in business and sell these. I
Okay,
really think
let's
you
get
could.
prepared
Okay.
first, and then we'll talk about business.
Yes.
Okay, so those are my finished objects. And May, what's your finished
You
object?
know, my life has been very busy, extremely busy. So
Yeah.
I really haven't had a time to myself to be able to, play. But we did finished a calendar for the Alpaca farm that we did last week.
Yes.
And so I was able to get that finished for that lady.
For Debbie, yep.
Yeah, Debbie. And so thank you, Debbie, again. And so that was my finished object, but I gave the object to Debbie. So I don't
Right.
really have anything. So for that, I apologize. But in the new year, I will.
Well, maybe what you could do is put up right here. Put up some pictures of the alpacas and the pictures that you chose for the
Okay,
calendar.
sure.
Put up some of those pictures because May is an amazing photographer.
Oh, okay.
And when I took the calendar out to Debbie, she actually said that. She said that you were such an amazing,
Oh, that was a nice
amazing
compliment.
photographer.
And
So-
I'll put a picture up of Debbie because that was a great picture of her, I thought. too.
Absolutely. So we'll put those in here.
Okay, there you go.
There we go.
They
And-
came out okay.
Yes,
look nice, yeah.
they're better than okay. They're amazing. Now we're going to talk about works in progress. Works in progress. It's a little different this time. As I said, it's been difficult to knit, but 2 weeks after I hurt my finger, I had signed up for 4 knitting classes with Kate Atherley at Shall We Knit in Kitchener, Waterloo. Actually in Waterloo is their address, on Willow Street. It's a beautiful old house, lots of rooms. It's really, really nice. We have a previous episode that has gone to Shall We Knit, so you can take a look at that one.
Is she a famous person?
Kate Atherley has written 5 or 6 books. She just has a new one out. Yes, so she is a famous person. And I think once a year she goes to Shall We Knit and does classes. So I thought, instead of having to pay to go on a plane and go stay in a hotel, if I could just drive to Waterloo, it's an hour and a half from where we are, I thought it wouldn't be a problem. So I signed up, was all excited, and then I broke my finger. And I thought, okay.
Oh, that was too bad.
Yeah.
Really, timing wasn't good.
Timing wasn't good. But Kate was amazing, and I love how she does her classes, and it allowed me to do a little bit of knitting and try and pick up the techniques without worrying about hurting myself. So I was really, really thrilled about that. There was a class on continental knitting, which was actually brilliant for me because in continental knitting, most of the work is done in your left hand. One of my works in progress is a hat that it's just a hat that I'm kind of making up on the go because I wanted to practice continental knitting. And Kate had said, just start and force yourself to do the whole thing. Well, right now I'm being forced to do the whole thing that way, and it's okay. I'm doing all right. The tension's not too bad. So this yarn is Red Heart Soft. It's just some yarn I had in my stash and I'm just using up. It's a pretty gray color.
Music to my ears.
Using up my stash? Absolutely, I know. So what I did was I did a 2x2 rib, and then I knit some rows, and then I thought, okay, I need to practice my purling as well, so I purled a row, and then knit some more, purled, knit, purl, and now I'm just going to do knitting. And I'm going to go knit up until it's as high as I want it, and then I'll do some decreases, and we'll go from there. So this yarn is, as it's called, is soft. It's acrylic. It's going to be easy to take care of. I'm using Chowgu 4-inch tip needles, and I am loving them. It's slick, but not too slick. And I'm getting the hang of tensioning my yarn with my left hand. I know a number of you are continental knitters, so you already have it figured out. But for me, it's not how my brain is used to working with things. But I'm happy with this. This has not taken me too long to knit up that much. So,
right. And you said she was such a great teacher. You said
she was really, really good.
I was skill set there of teaching was nice.
Absolutely. So she is wonderful. So there was a class on designing shawls, which the good thing was there was a little bit of knitting in there, but not too much. The other class was about short row savvy, so it was all different ways of doing short rows. And once again, it wasn't very much knitting, but there was lots of knowledge. So it actually, I was a little worried about it, but it all worked out really well. And the other thing that it was brioche. And this is called the Omnishambles. What would we call this? It's a brioche project. It looks a little bit like a tie. There it is. You can buy this pattern on Ravelry.
Scarf tie, call it? You call it a scarf tie?
No. So I chose Malabrigo Rios. And this is Merino Superwash, and it is 4.5 to 5.5 stitches per inch. So in 100 grams, there's 210 yarns. Two different colors. One is Tranquillo, and the other one is Pearl. So the darker one is Tranquillo, and then that's Pearl. And I love these colors.
They go well together.
They do. It's oftentimes in brioche, you really want to start contrast. This one has enough contrast, and yet I really like it. I was really, really quite happy with it. Now, it doesn't look like it did very much, but you can imagine there's lots of increasing, and I did a decrease. I'm hoping you can see that. So it's the start of it.
See the depth of it.
Depth of it. So that's what it looks on that side. And that's what it looks like on that side.
It's going to be nice when it's all done.
It is. So I may, you're not going to like me to say this, I may end up ripping it out because it was done with very strange tension for me. And what I may do is rip it out and start fresh. Kate has a couple of shawl patterns. And what I may do is pick up some yarn for you and make one of these because I think it's something that you'd like to wear.
And I'll wear it on a podcast. So
absolutely. We may actually get May some cashmere if we can. So that would be good.
Am I cashmere worthy?
Yes, you are cashmere worthy and then some. So I had a great weekend taking those 4 classes with Kate Atherley, and I'm liking continental knitting. I'm getting better at it. And this one, I think the brioche one, I'm going to hold off until my finger's a little bit better. So right now we're looking at 3 weeks before I don't have to splint it. Or I don't have to buddy tape it is what it's called. And then hopefully we'll be able to do a little more.
Great.
So those are my works in progress. And next we're going to talk about our adventure.
Our adventure today took us to Ottawa, Ontario. What an amazing city that is.
It was beautiful.
We visited 2 yarn stores. Colleen will talk a little bit about those afterwards. And we also visited a fabrication store. Or is that what it's called? Fabrications?
Fabrication's the name of the store.
Wabi Sabi was the yarn store, and Wool Time was the yarn store, and Fabrications was the fabric store.
Yeah.
But what I thought I would do is put a little video together about Ottawa so that you can see some of the buildings and things that we're going to be talking about first, and then when we come back after the video, we'll talk about a little bit of our adventure in Ottawa.
Perfect.
So we'll put the video in here. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. It kind of gives you an idea of what we were seeing and the views from the hotel room that we saw. Our hotel room was absolutely amazing. It looked right onto the Parliament buildings in Ottawa. Right. We couldn't have asked for a better hotel.
It was a perfect
I think
location.
It was the Westin Hotel it was called. And I was there for work, so I was doing a lot of the work while Colleen was having fun. But I was able to
Sorry.
squeeze in a little bit of fun.
Yes, we had some fun.
We took the train down. It's about a 6-hour train ride from where we live in London. And we get a nice dinner on the train on the way home. We actually had 2 dinners. It worked out. I don't know how that happened, but we got on 2 different, well, it was 2 different schedules, but it was the same train. But they offered 2 dinners because of the 6-hour time frame.
Yeah, I think it might be closer to 8. Yeah.
Oh, really?
So I think
Maybe
that's part of the
we
reason we
got
got the 2
dinners.
meals. Yeah, that's right.
But we had drinks, you know, they were able to give you some nice drinks and some chocolates, and they give you a cloth for your hand to wipe. It was just a lovely
That
experience.
was a nice way to come home. Absolutely.
You know, when you can read, how often you get 8 hours to yourself where you can read and just do what you want to do? That doesn't happen
Knit
in
a
my
little.
life.
Yep.
Were you able? Well, your hand wasn't sore.
Nope,
No,
I hadn't
so you're
broken
able to
my
knit
finger
then,
then, yep.
right? And we sat in the train station. It was lovely. Via Rail is absolutely amazing. When you go business class, you get to sit in their lounge and do that. So, so we arrived in Ottawa, and Ottawa, the name Ottawa actually was chosen in 1857 by Queen Victoria.
Okay.
She decided to, not the name actually, she decided to make Ottawa the capital city of Canada.
Okay.
So it's been the capital city since 1857. The population there is about, right in Ottawa, is just under 1 million.
Oh,
so
goodness,
947,000, something like that. And then, of course, then there's the surrounding area would make it a lot more population. It's the 4th largest city in Canada. Also, it's the 4th cleanest city out of 300 major cities around the world.
Wow. It is
According
beautiful.
to Forbes.
Absolutely.
It is so clean, and they say that it's compact, clean, and it was cleverly planned. And it's a center of culture and politics because,
Yes, absolutely.
you know, of course, it's all the government employees. I think they actually employ 110,000 government employees
oh my
there.
goodness.
So it is very clean. Like I just loved it. We
was
went like you know, it wasn't the nicest time of year just because, you know, it was wet and dreary.
Right.
But we've been there in the summer, and it's, you know, it sits on the banks of the Ottawa River, and it contains the mouth of the Rideau Canal and the Rideau River.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you were able to skate on that Rideau Canal. But when we were there in the summer, we were able to bike around there.
Yeah,
And there's
there's
little
bike
restaurants, and we rented a bike, which is very simple if you're ever going to visit there.
Yeah.
And when you take the bike around the Rideau Canal, there's little restaurants. We stopped there and had nice lunch.
Yeah.
It was great, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I'd like
that's
to go
good.
back there in the summer.
Yeah, I think it
very
would be good to do.
Now they do a lot of, you've probably seen a lot of in the movies and heard about them skating on there because it does get to minus 20 in the winter, very cold.
Oh my
I
goodness.
don't know this for sure, but I know in Winnipeg they plug their cars in.
Right.
In the winter
They need
because they
block
have
heaters,
to.
yeah.
And so I don't know if they do that in Ottawa, but they might have to if it gets minus 20. So, you know, it is a tourist attraction, and they have about 73 million visitors
Million?
a year.
73 million?
73 million.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a
So,
lot of people.
Yes. They have about 35 festivals a year. They have, of course, the big Canada Day. They have the horses and the Mounties, and they have parades, and that it being the capital city.
Right, right.
They have Tulip Festival, Jazz Festival, Blues Festivals, like 35 different big festivals. So,
Oh, wow.
and they have the grounds and the place to do that there. Like, it's just
Absolutely.
awesome. What else can I tell you about Ottawa? What did you think of the trip there? Like, what were...
I loved the train ride. I was really happy with that. We decided to go down the night before because you had a travel day on the Friday, but we figured if we went late, then Friday we could do some adventuring. And so it was rainy,
Right.
but it wasn't horrible. Like
No.
and they had snow and a lot of cold weather the week before, so we were happy
Right.
it was just rain. We'd taken our raincoats. We were ready to go.
We had them.
Exactly. We didn't need them in Scotland,
Right.
but we needed them in Ottawa. So that was good. We had a good time touring the Byward Market,
Right.
which was lovely. And what was
Well, it's an outdoor market, and they
Yeah.
sell a lot of syrup there and different things. And then we ate at that really nice restaurant, and you'll see that you probably have seen that in the video.
Right,
The
it's
name
a
of it's in
diner.
there. Yes, a
Yeah.
diner. It was great, and of course we had to have dessert because we were
Yes.
on vacation. So
Yes, I think I Instagrammed that picture. So if you go on our Instagram, yep, you'll see that. And yes, we did share it. We did a good job of that. So I like the Byward Market. The transit system is really easy to navigate because you and I took the bus a couple of times to get where we needed to go. And then the one day that you had to work, I took a bus. It was a couple of buses, and it was an hour of traveling time to get place because we didn't have our car with us.
Right.
But it was okay. It was an easy thing to navigate. So I really like that as well as far as Ottawa goes.
And I think the weather being the way it was, it's okay to sit on a train for 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours, because you know, you don't mind if it's kind of dreary outside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we didn't speak French there too much, but
No.
it is multilingual because 50% of the people there are English and about 32% are French. So, comment ça va?
Ça va bien.
Très bien. So it was just a great trip, and I can't wait to go back to Ottawa. You know, and the stores that we visited, the yarn stores, everybody again was very friendly. You can talk a little bit more about Wabi Sabi and all the places that we went in old time, because the stores were great and what they had in the stores, and we were able to find them with no problem at all, and the people were friendly and great, and I can't wait to go back to Ottawa. Beautiful.
It was absolutely amazing. So I'll talk about the 2 yarn stores. I'll talk about the fabric store as well. So our first, on that Friday that we went, we took the bus and we went and we found Wabi Sabi, which was easy to find. It's at 1078 Wellington Street West. Easy to navigate to. The store is amazing. The owner is Judy, and we were speaking with Emily, who was working there, and they were really sweet and lovely. It's interesting. On the Thursday, Tin Can Knits was going to become doing something for the Kitchener-Waterloo Knitters Guild.
Right.
So I couldn't do that one because I had to be at work. And then on the Sunday, Tin Can Knits was going to be at Wabi Sabi.
And we had to be on the train.
So I thought, I just want to get the new Tin Can Knit books called Strange Brew. So that was one of my objectives. So we had looked a little bit around the store, and then I asked that question. And unfortunately, they'd ordered a lot in, but because they were coming to do a workshop, they didn't have any books. So that was okay. I knew I could order it another way. It wasn't a problem. So I did some looking around, and as I said, there were lots of different yarns. They had Harriet yarn, sweet paprika, fiber spinning, needle felting. They had earth yarns. They had all kinds of things, so many yarns. And they are talking about that they're after Christmas, they're going to be doing online sales. They weren't quite ready to do that when we were there, but they're just going to start after Christmas.
And I think, is that the lady that was, she had just bought it?
Yes.
She had just bought it like in the summer.
Right. And the store itself has been open for 10 years, but there is just a
New owner,
new
yes.
owner for that.
And she's excited and enthusiastic and
Exactly.
wanting to do new things, so that was really neat.
So she was great. So then we left. We'll talk about souvenirs in souvenirs. Then we left there and we walked down Wellington Street West because Fabrications is at 1018 Wellington Street West. And beautiful store.
Clean, well laid out.
The patterns are amazing. Like, they have lots of patterns there. They have lots of classes there. The way that the fabric is laid out, you could spend hours and hours and hours.
How do you pick a fabric out of all that?
You know
I
what?
have no
It's
idea.
really hard.
But while you were looking at all the fabric, I was looking at all the tables and how they were made.
Yes.
And the actual owner, and I don't know if you know this, but I was talking to the lady there, and the actual owner
And her name was Claire.
Claire makes all those tables and everything. So I was I didn't show any of these pictures, but I was taking pictures of how the tables were made and how they did that. They were fantastic. They were just made by 2x4s and
Oh, wow.
and brackets.
Right.
And they were just beautiful. You could probably see them from the video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's the kind of stuff you like to do.
Yes.
Okay, me, I like to buy fabric. And you want to make things, you want to make tables, but that's good. So that was Fabrications. That was on the same day. Then we grabbed a bite to eat. We had a nice dinner at the Keg that night. So we had a good day.
We had a
all
good
in all,
time, yeah.
which was fantastic. And then the next day was when you had a day of work. And I apologize that you had to work, but I thought this is a day that I don't mind spending time on a bus. I took some knitting with me, and away I went on the bus. And I went to see Wool Time. Now, Wool Time has always been on Colonnade Road South, but they weren't at their original place. Now, the reason why I wanted to go to Wool Time is it's supposed to be one of the biggest yarn stores in Canada. It's almost like a warehouse kind of thing. Unfortunately, there had been a tornado in Ottawa, and the roof of Wool Time had been damaged.
So sad.
So they lost a little bit of what they had, and so they needed to find another place to be. So they are currently at, as far as I know, currently at 203 Colonnade Road South, Unit 2. They did an amazing job in that little space. They had like a section for worsted and a section for fingering yarn and a section for DK and chunky. They had it all set up. There were lots of workers there. When I started there, it was a Saturday morning. I basically got there when it opened, and oh my goodness, by the time I was leaving, it was really, really full. But
Right.
they have nice patterns and books and different kinds of notions, and they had project bags and all kinds of things there. So I hope if we go back again that you and I could go there, because I think when
Is
they're
it going
back,
to go
in their
back to the same original
yeah,
place?
it's
where
going to
they
go back. Yep, they have to do the repairs and go through the insurance and do what they need to do. But they were absolutely lovely there as well. So as I said, 2 yarn stores, 1 fabric
Right.
store. I had a great time. So we really did a good job when we were there.
Yeah. And when I think of Ottawa and our trip there, I do think about our big picture window in the hotel. Like, it was massive, as you can see from the video.
Right.
And just sitting there and looking over the city was just just a memorable moment, you know.
Exactly.
And the canal is right. The Rideau Canal is right there, so you can see how the canal operates. We actually saw it in the summer when we were there last year, and how the boats kind of go up from one little ledge to the other. And it's actually the oldest continuously operated canal system in North America.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it took. We got some good photographs in the summer that I haven't put up, but, from our last trip, but just put pictures up from this trip. But what a phenomenal city, and the buildings. I find when you see the Parliament buildings in Ottawa for the first time, it's kind of like an awe moment. Wow, they're just,
it was amazing.
weren't they? They're just kind of wow.
Yeah,
So-
and I looked out we had one sunny day. We were working again, sorry. And I went.
See a pattern here? It's not a knitting pattern, but it's a pattern.
And I took pictures. I thought we have to have some of these nice pictures, and
And you
it
took
was
some good
beautiful.
pictures. Yeah.
It was just
you got the
beautiful.
sunny day to do
Yeah,
that.
it was cold. Like, it was a cool, clear morning, but it was great to be able to get some pictures of Ottawa because it is beautiful. Like, the buildings are beautiful. Parliament buildings are beautiful. It's just an amazing city.
Yeah. So that was our adventure to Ottawa. So thank you.
So next, we're going to talk about our souvenirs. The first place we went to was Wabi Sabi, as we mentioned earlier. I asked about the Strange Brew book. They didn't have any, but that was okay. So I looked around. They had lots of cool things to do. And the skein of yarn that I landed on was something from Ravenswood Fibre Company. And they're from Nova Scotia. This is called the Happy Yarn Day colorway. It's 85% merino and 15% nylon, and the colors are amazing.
They are beautiful colors.
I'm really, really
what
happy.
What can you make with that?
Well,
I'm seeing a cowl in my future.
Okay, I'm not. The Cozy Up Knits are doing a mystery knit along. I did it last year, and I'm thinking if I found a gray and a cream, and I think I actually have them in my stash.
Oh, good.
That's a good thing. If I put a gray and a cream together with that, it might be a beautiful shawl.
Nice.
Yep, so that was the first thing. Now, the second thing we found, they had a sample that was it was just almost like a little collar cowl that had a little button, and May said, oh, I could wear that, that would be great. The colors of the yarn, you had to buy the yarn to get the pattern, and the colors of the yarn that they had left were not colors you would wear. So I said, well, May, this is not a problem because they have purple. I could buy purple, and then I could make one, and I'll find some yarn either in my stash or pick some up for you to make that. And so that is in your future. Once this finger is better, that's going to happen. So it is Sweet Paprika Presto, and this is, the color is called August, so I'm not quite sure why that is, but there is this lovely purple. It is bulky weight. It's either chunky or bulky. And it's not very much, but it's enough to make this pattern. And so I'm really excited about making yours because you are the one that requested it, and then I'll make mine.
That'll be nice. I wonder why they did call that August. I mean, when you look at that, does August jump out at you? Like,
no.
No. So it's
but I'm
interesting
wondering
to-
if they have
monthly.
Yes, sometimes they have memberships.
Right.
Sometimes yarn companies will have like a monthly membership. Sometimes it happens every 2 months. sometimes every month, and they just send you a skein of yarn.
Oh, okay.
So that may
That could be.
I don't know if that's that.
Interesting.
So that's what we picked up at Wabi Sabi. And then we went to Fabrications. So lots of fabric to choose. So I started with this one, which reminded me a little bit of the fabric that I had to make
Your niece?
my niece in Meredith the project bag. It reminds me a little bit of that. This has more of a pink flair to it than an orangey flair to it, but I really, really like it. It's beautiful fabric. I'm sorry you can't feel it because it's really, really nice. And so that's going to make a project bag for
That'd be
sure.
nice.
And then I found this. And the reason why I like this is because it has the directions north, south, east, west. And we are always adventuring and in the car, and we need our directions. And so that is definitely an MC Knitting Adventures podcast project bag.
You are correct.
Yeah,
We
so-
just need a UPS little things in there too, because that's what we use a
That
lot too.
GPS will do it for us every time. And then what happened, and this often happens, you see somebody with a skein of yarn, you go, oh, I really, really like that. And in this case, there was a lady in the store that was buying this fabric, and I just fell in love with it. So this has like birch trees. I'm just going to turn it this way so that you can see. Yeah, if you hold it that
Okay.
way, that's okay. The birds will be right side up. So there's
I'm
birds
seeing
and
it
there's
this
birch
way. I'm
trees.
seeing it upside down my way.
I know. I thought, yeah, that's why it's happening.
Okay.
So it's like birch trees with these little birds, and it's just this little pop of red on it, and I really, really like it.
This reminds me of your mother, because your mom likes that kind of
Birds.
thing.
So I did buy enough that I could make a little something for my mom, and so I may be doing that in the future as well.
Okay.
So that was Fabrications. And then off I went to Wool Time. And it, as I said, I kind of got there when it opened. And this was the first thing that I saw. And there is that lovely Strange Brew book by Tin Can Knits. So it's Alexa Ludeman and Emily Wessel. And the patterns in here, it's all color work. There are so many possibilities in there. So I am looking forward to doing some work with that.
Oops, upside down again. Look at that.
That's okay. Yes, I really am pleased that I got that book.
Yes.
Yeah, that is now my Ottawa book. That's how I am with souvenirs, right? It reminds me of things. Then I found this skein of yarn. There was so much yarn. We had to carry on. I couldn't buy everything, but there was so much yarn, and I'm sure I don't even know what I would do if I'd gone to Wool Time in its original location. I probably would have needed a second suitcase, to be
We need a
honest with you.
forklift to get our suitcases into the train.
Well, the good thing is it's
It's
light.
yarn. Yeah, that's true, yeah.
So it's not that much. It doesn't weigh that much, but that's okay. So this is a skein of Manos del Uruguay Alegria. It is in the Cabaret.
Nice colors again.
It's beautiful.
These are not colors that you would normally
You know
pick,
what?
so I'm not
It's-
even thinking why you would do that, but they're beautiful.
You know what it is? It has black, but it's not too dark. And it has pink, but it's not too bright. And I like the cream just lightens it up. So I have to find the right shawl to do
right.
with that. But I am really, really pleased with it. It's funny because I honestly, what you're saying is that's not usually what I buy. That's exactly what I thought, and I couldn't put it down.
Really?
Now, the one thing I did have in my hand that I would have gone back to, they had fleece artists. They had it had mohair and it had yarn together so you could make something, but I wasn't sure enough what I could make with
Right.
it. So I thought I would hold off. So that's okay. There's always another time. And then I found this. Now I'm going to leave it in its package, but it's called Atlantic Pewter, and it is basically a shawl pin. So for instance, what I'm wearing, if I wanted to wear it a little differently, I could spin it around, have the point kind of over this shoulder, and then put that there. That is a little piece of leather, I think.
Did you get that from Wool Time?
This was from Wool Time. That was the kind of cool stuff they had. This is a little piece of leather, so it could protect behind it. So I have a sweater that I close with one of those, and I thought that was kind of cool.
That's different. Yeah, it's
Yep.
nice.
So it's made in New Brunswick, Harvey Station, New Brunswick.
There you
Canadian.
go.
I was thrilled. There we
Yep.
go.
We like to buy Canadian.
Yes, we do.
Yep.
So those were my souvenirs. That was our adventure. We had a brilliant time. We like to travel. We like to look at things. We like to eat good desserts.
As you can see from the photos, we like to eat.
Yes,
It's a big part of our adventures.
and we do always have fun when we
Yeah.
go away. if you're liking what you're seeing, please subscribe, comment down below, let us know what else you'd like to see, or if there's a yarn store. I know I just found out there's one in Beamsville that's just opened up.
Oh, good.
Yes, so I'm excited about that. I think Caroline on the Fibre Friends mentioned it, so that's exciting. So if you've got a place that you'd like us to come visit, let us know. That would be great. And until next time,
You take care.